Nick.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Nick Robinson, BBC News. Given that Peter Mandelson has been forced out of the Cabinet twice, given that he's a very divisive figure in your party, and given that your relations have not always been exactly easy with him, what was the question to which Peter Mandelson was the answer? Serious people are needed for serious times. He's got an unrivalled experience as the Trade Commissioner of the European Commission. Everybody has said right around the world that he's done a brilliant job. We need all those people with brilliance and expertise to help us as we meet these uncharted times. And by bringing in Paul Miners, formerly of Marks & Spencer's from the City, by bringing in Paul Drayson, who's an expert in manufacturing and business, by bringing in other people who are business ambassadors for our country, we are bringing together the best team possible to deal with the difficulties that everybody knows have caused consternation in America and caused worries here in Britain. And we are going to work through these difficulties as a team, because my primary aim is to get people through these difficulties fairly and to show that Britain can lead the world in coming out of the difficulties that the world has. Could you just address the worries people have got about him, Prime Minister? Because you know there'll be people tonight who are saying it's not right for someone to get a third chance in the Cabinet. You obviously had to weigh that very seriously in mind. How did you come to the decision? Why did you overcome the doubts you must have had in your own mind? You know, it's incredible how big decisions about the economy are reduced to just a question about one or two personalities. The fact of the matter is that Peter Mandelson has proved in these years as a Commissioner that he has unrivalled experience and expertise to deal with the business and trade issues that we're having to deal with. He's part of a team working together. We will deal with the conditions that this country faces only by having the best people. We have the business ambassadors, we have people brought in from the City today, we have people with expertise in the economic areas that will give people confidence. There will be a new focus on small business and how we can help them. And Peter Mandelson is part of that team, and I'm pleased that he has agreed to join it. John.
John Craig from Sky News. But I've spoken to Labour MPs today who are horrified at the return of Peter Mandelson. What do you say to those many people who will be appalled that you have brought back a man who has been forced to resign twice from the Cabinet in disgrace, once over a mortgage and once over a passport? And what does this say about your attempts that you talked about a year or so ago to clean up government and get rid of sleaze? There will be those who say sleaze is back.
Mr Mandelson has done 3 years and more as the Commissioner in the European Union. He has done that with a great deal of distinction and proved himself. I think if you ask the business community in Britain and indeed in Europe, he is regarded as a friend of business who can make a huge difference by the decisions he makes and the way he undertakes the job. But these decisions are made about the national interest. These decisions are made so that we, the government, can serve the people better. I want to bring into the government all the expertise that is available to help us through these difficult times. As I say, it is serious people dealing with serious changes that are happening in the world in serious times, and we will together make the right decisions that will take Britain through these difficulties.
Chris Shipp, ITV News. Prime Minister, there are many people in your party saying today that you've taken leave of your senses. You've appointed a man who's divisive, a man who's twice been forced to resign for the Cabinet, and someone you barely spoke to for the best part of a decade and a half. How can you answer that charge?
That Peter Mandelson has proved himself as the Commissioner in the last few years as someone of great distinction. What I've decided is what I believe is in the national interest. It's in the national interest that we bring together all the people who can serve us to the best effect. If you've got someone with unrivalled experience in international business issues, someone who's respected by business for what he has done and who's built a reputation over these last few years as someone who can get things done, then if the British government can benefit from that, it's the right decision. And you set aside all the issues of the past in the national interest. And that is what we're doing today. These decisions made today about bringing in people from the outside, making changes so that we can put our full focus. I said I would give my undivided attention to sorting out the problems that arise from what's been happening around the world in the economy. I know that people around the country are worried about not just the food bills and not just the petrol prices, but they're worried also about the insecurity that has arisen from the financial crisis in America. I believe we can lead the world in dealing with these problems. I've said a few minutes ago, I believe other countries will be doing exactly what we are doing to restructure government to deal with these problems. And Peter Mandelson is someone who can make a difference, helping us do what is right for business and for households throughout the country.
Your personal relationship, will it detract from the job of government?
Our personal relationships will be very good. Thank you.
Rob Hutton from Bloomberg. Chancellor, a year ago you gave an unlimited guarantee on all deposits in any bank affected by the credit crunch. Your aides confirmed that that applied not just to Northern Rock but to any bank. I take it the FSA announcement today replaces that announcement. Now, was that brought forward from next week because you're concerned about money moving to Ireland? Are you worried about another possible run?
You're not quite right. When Northern Rock got into difficulties last year, I issued a guarantee then, which was subsequently extended, and I made it clear that if another bank got into similar difficulties, we'd take the same action. So that's what I said. In relation to the FSA announcement, I think you know that for some time the FSA has been considering increasing the compensation limit to £50,000. It's something that I have supported and have made that clear over several weeks. The Prime Minister said exactly the same thing. So the FSA, which runs the Financial Services Compensation Scheme, it decided on the timing. It decided that it was the right thing to do to say that we were going to increase it to 50,000, and it is consulting on whether or not the limit shouldn't be higher than that. It is statutorily obliged to consult before it can go that further step, and it's doing it. It is also looking at the differences between compensatory levels in different parts of Europe as well as different parts of the world. But as I say, the announcement they've made today covers 98% of account holders, so it goes a significant way to providing people with assurance. I have also said, I said it this week and I said it last week, and I will continue to say it, that we will do whatever it takes to stabilise the present situation in the financial markets, and our priority is to protect not just the banking system, but depositors as well.
Thanks, Bob.
Roberts from the Mirror. Let me try one on the National Economic Council. How will a change in government structure help ordinary families across this country? They want help with petrol prices and fuel bills. I mean, what does a new Cabinet Committee do?
We'll be discussing day to day with a team of people brought together all the challenges that face us. Now, whether these are financial challenges or whether they are the challenges that people are facing as a result of higher gas and electricity bills, or whether it's the housing market and we need to stimulate it and the things that we need to do, or whether it's the problems of individual small businesses. That's what we'll be discussing in this Economic Council. It is down-to-earth problems that people are facing every day that need to be looked at with a fresh eye. Look, what's happened, let's be honest, what's happened around the world is that the old economic policy was macroeconomic fine-tuning, whatever you call it. Now you've got to recognise that the sources of inflation around the world are oil prices, are food prices, completely changed. And the ways that government have got to act cover not just what the Treasury does in economic policy and the business department does, but your energy policy, it covers your food policy, right across government. The government has got to change. This will happen, in my view, in every country in the world in the next few weeks or months. People will wake up to the fact that we need new ways of dealing with new problems, and we need new ways in government of working together to deal with these problems. So if someone at home is asking, what is the government going to do about the insecurity I feel, I say that every government department that has relevance in this is now working. Every minister is working together to deal with this. And the new system that brings in business ambassadors, regions of the country now represented on an economic council, as well as the key ministers working closely together simply on the economic issues in what you might call the economic cabinet. That is what we're going to be doing over the next few months. And it's the right thing to do, and I believe other countries will do it very soon. Yeah.